2018 completely and obsessively around Facebook and Instagram, you will lose. Toys R Us did two things over the last couple of decades that make no sense. One, very early in the 2000s, they outsourced themselves to Amazon. They didn't believe in the internet 17 years ago, so they let Amazon do their fulfillment, which started people getting used to buying toys on the internet through an Amazon world. But most importantly, they just didn't innovate. You know, and when you don't innovate, you die. Like when you don't change, you die. The world passes you by. It's the best example right now of like how in trouble everybody is if they rest on their laurels. You know,
Warren Buffett, and even he doesn't try to time the market. Don't try to time the market. Yeah, some years the market is volatile this time of year. Some years it's not. The right way to invest is a bit out of every paycheck. Make it a habit.
You
that
would
way
adapt to what their needs were.
Yeah.
I'm reminded by that question of just in terms of my career as a change maker and those times when you're like, the other guys just don't get it. You know, you can't mandate change. They just don't get it.
Right.
And it's such a time for empathy when you have to stop and go, wait a minute. Do they fear? Are they nervous? Do they not understand? Am I not communicating? That was an unexpected surprise for me to think at those moments that you...
So if you can just very briefly explain to me what they mean. Shoot people you love.
What I mean is, at the end of the day, people have got to have two things. They have to have great character and they have to have great capability in order to make a great organization. And in order to do that, there are times that you're going to have to let somebody you love go. I have another expression which is pain plus reflection equals progress. So pain sometimes can be a messenger that maybe you're not handling it so well, and that there are lessons in that.
Another of your principles, you say to pay for the person, not the job.
Yeah, if a person is changing a job, and if you were to think about should you compensate them, you have to pay for what that person is like.
That solitude matters, and that for some people it is the air that they breathe. And in fact, we have known for centuries about the transcendent power of solitude. It's only recently that we've strangely begun to forget it. If you look at most of the world's major religions, you will find seekers, Moses, Jesus, Buddha, Muhammad, seekers who are going off by themselves, alone, to the wilderness, where they then have profound epiphanies and revelations that they then bring back to the rest of the community. So no wilderness, no revelations. This is no surprise.
You're talking about my freedom and everybody's lives who gave here. Everybody who put their life down on the line, and you're saying, it's okay, it won't happen to us. It's happening in France and it's happening all over.
Sorry, sir, what's happening?
The people are saying no, because these two cultures will not mix.
Which two cultures are those, sir?
Islam and Christianity.
No, sorry, okay, hang on. Let's be, sorry. Democracy only works in a country like Canada if people are free to express their fears, their concerns, their opinions, and we get an opportunity to respond to them.
And the most interesting thing in tech is news coming from Walmart. The company's announced that they're going to invest in 17,000 Oculus Rift headsets. Some virtual reality rigs that you strap on over your head and you put yourself into an immersive world where all kinds of things can happen. And Walmart is buying them to train employees. They'll send these to Walmart stores around the country, and employees will be trained in some of what they do in their job. And this is kind of a momentous thing. It's the biggest corporate investment in virtual reality, and it's for real job training, which is one of the applications of VR that people have always said would come about, but that hasn't really come about so far. And in fact, it could be a key moment in VR. What's interesting about virtual reality is that it hasn't been hard since this technology came on the scene. To imagine
So if you can just very briefly explain to me what they mean. Shoot people you love.
What I mean is, at the end of the day, people have got to have two things. They have to have great character and they have to have great capability in order to make a great organization. And in order to do that, there are times that you're going to have to let somebody you love go. I have another expression which is pain plus reflection equals progress. So pain sometimes can be a messenger that maybe you're not handling it so well, and that there are lessons in that.
Another of your principles, you say to pay for the person, not the job.
Yeah, if a person is changing a job, and if you were to think about should you compensate them, you have to pay for what that person is like.
Well, it was a great idea that our partner Warren Buffett had, which is he said the right thing for society. If you're lucky enough to grow up in the United States, you ought to give at least half of your fortune back. If you have $1 billion, you can afford to give half back. And so we now have 190 people who've taken the pledge, 22 different countries, to say that they will, in their lifetime or in their will, give away half their wealth back to society.
Wow.
Any names you want to pass on? They're all out there. We have them all out on the web. And a lot of them in the U.S. have made it from their tech fortunes. Right. Yeah. A lot of these are first-generation wealth. And the neat thing is it's also in India and China. Yes. We're trying to create a standard there that if you grow up in a society where you can create a business that amasses that much wealth, right, it should go back to society.
What has been your biggest failure over the years, and what do you think you most learned from it?
I suspect the most notable failure has been not knocking Coca-Cola off their pedestal.
Virgin Cola?
Virgin Cola. We had a good try. For a year or two, it looked like we were going to take Coke for everything they had. We were outselling them in Britain, in all the retailers that we were stocked. And we were outselling Pepsi. I then got a bit too big for my boots, and I arrived in Times Square with a Sherman tank from Britain.